So now today we are going to talk about in detail, okay, what is the referencing and what is the different types of the referencing. Okay, as I told you last time also, the referencing is the way to refer the formula or function from one cell to the next cell along the row or column. Means what? Means that key whenever we are going to write the any formula in a Excel sheets, we are using the cell address, and that cell address is known as the cell referencing, like A2, B2, C2, D2, whatever you are writing in your formula, that is called cell referencing. Okay, that is called cell referencing. And in your LibreOffice Calc or everywhere, either it's Microsoft Office or Open Office or LibreOffice, in any office, if you are going to talk, then you will find that referencing. There are three types of the referencing. Okay, one is called relative referencing, second is called mixed referencing, and third is called absolute referencing. So first I'm going to talk about the relative, then I'm going to talk about the absolute, then I'm going to talk about the mixed cell referencing. So what is the meaning of the relative? I told you last time also that whenever you are copying the formula, you can observe that the formula is gets changed automatically. The formula is gets changed automatically, and this is due to the relative referencing. This is called relative referencing. Okay, so almost all applications are following these concepts, and this is the default referencing. This is the default referencing for the that. Now I'm going to tell you how you will use the relative referencing. Suppose I am having a data here like this. I'm writing here. Suppose this is the principal amount. Okay, and this is the time. This is the time, and this is the rate. Okay, and now I'm going to calculate the amount. I'm going to calculate the simple interest, and I'm going to calculate the amount. Okay, so amount is the sum of the principal plus interest. Okay, now, and there is a one more. Okay, now, so I'm going to write some value here. 4500 60 is 6650, 8000, 7000, like this. I've given some value here, 5000, like this. Okay, and now I'm giving the time 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, 4 years, and 1 year, suppose. Okay, now I'm giving the rate of interest 5%, 6%, 8%, 10%. Okay, and that is I'm giving the 15%, and I'm going to change it 7 year or 6 year. It's 6 years, like this way. Okay, and now here I'm going to write a one formula. So what is the simple interest formula? If you know the simple interest formula, it is principal multiply time into rate, PRT, principal rate time divided by 100. So I have to multiply everything. So what I'm doing, I'm writing the first cell address. Okay, then I'm giving the multiply sign, then I'm writing the second cell address, then I'm giving the multiply sign, and then I'm giving the third cell address, and then I'm giving the close parenthesis, and now divide by 100. So I have written this formula here, and it's calculated the result here. Now look at this address bar. In this address bar, you can observe that, okay, what is the formula? It is B30, C30, D30 divided by 100. Now you can think one more thing. This formula is written in which column? E column. This formula is written in which column? E column. In which row number? Row number 30. Row number 30 and column number E. So this formula is written in E30. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this formula. I'm going to copy this formula on this side. I'm going to copy this formula on this side. So I'm just moving on the right hand side of the current cell. Okay. I'm moving just right hand side of the current cell, and I'm pressing the enter key. And now you just check the formula key. What is the formula there? Now you can find out it is C30, D30, and E30. Why it is C30, D30, E30? If you check it here, you can observe that, okay, what is the formula here? You can see the formula is B30, C30, D30. But in an adjacent cell, whenever you copy this formula, it's become C30, D30, and E30. This is the nature of the relative reference. This is the nature of the relative reference. And what is this? The formula is get updated automatically according to the value of the according the position, means where you are going to copy. First, I'm moving this formula to the right hand side. So that's why every cell address, every column address only is going to increase. Look at this. What is the difference between this cell and this cell? This cell in a E column and this cell is a F column, but both are having in the same row. Both are having in the same row. So that's why what happened, the column number is only increasing, row number does not change here. Row number does not change because I am changing the position of the column only. I am copying this formula to the next column. Okay, now I am going to copy the same formula in another row, another row, and I'm moving just one row downward, and you can find out okay, what is this here. It's going to just now look at this. B, C, D is the same here, column number is the same here, but the row number is going to increase by 1. Why? Because you are copying the formula downward. You are copying the formula downward. If I'm going to copy the same formula, look at this, two row downwards, and you can find out this is the 30, and you can see here what happened. This is the 33. Why? It's a 30 here, 31, 32. You are just copying the formula at the third position from the current cell. So what happened? The three cell address is going to increase 31, 32, 33. So this way formula is going to change. Formula is going to change, and this is due to the cell referencing. If I'm going to copy this formula down also, okay, two row down, okay, so 30, 31, 32, okay, and two column right. So it's in place of the B, it's become, because this formula in E there, so I'm just shifting the one more cell here. So what happens, this all are shifting, this all, every cell address is going to shift by this way. You can observe here first formula in this, first you go and check this. Okay, what is the formula here? In this it is written B30, C30, D30. It is written B30, C30 and D30. Okay, so now you can find out okay, what happened here. Now you can find out what happened here. If you look at this, this is formula is related, this cell formula is related from this to this components, and you are moving two row down, 1, 2, and you are moving two row column left. So what happened? This cell address is also going to change, means this cell is going to change. So B is first B30, so it's going two row down, 31 and 32. So it's become 32, and now it's moved to the two column right. So one column is C and then D. So what happened? The formula is become D32, D32 and E32 and F32 and divided by 100. Now you go and check the formula here. Okay, what is the actual formula in this cell? And you can find that this cell is having the D32, E32 and F32 divided by 100. So this is the cell referencing. This is called cell referencing, and this is the meaning of the cell referencing. I hope you understand these all things. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the absolute cell referencing. What is the absolute cell referencing? Makes you understand. Okay, this is the mixed cell reference. In that, what happened? Formula is going to change. If we are moving on left hand side, it's going to decrease the column number. If we are moving upward, it's going to decrease the row number. Okay, so this is the practice you have to perform. Today you try to do this practice. Let us practice 8 and try to solve these equations. Try to just write the formula and check it. What is the formula there if you are going to copy this. Next is the mixed cell referencing. What is the meaning of the mixed cell referencing? Mixed cell referencing means that okay, whenever you drag the formula, you can find out, whenever you drag the formula, you can find out that only row number and column number get changed in a relative reference. Only row number or column name gets changed in a relative reference. Means any one thing is going to change. Any one thing is going to change. It's not going to change in a both. So how it is possible? It is possible with the help of the concept of the absolute. Absolute concept is going to mix with the relative concept. Absolute concept is going to mix with the relative concept. So how it is possible? In this case, what happened in mixed cell referencing? What we are doing? We are copying. In a mixed cell referencing, what we are using? We are using the dollar sign. We are using the dollar sign either before the row number or before the column number. Either before the row number or before the column number. And why we are using this? To make this whole component as a constant. To make this whole component as a constant. So in mixed referencing, we are using the dollar sign before the row number or column name to make it constant. What is the meaning of the make it constant? Make it constant means कि whenever you drag such formula, because I have written here $14 here, it means row number will be constant here. This dollar is written before the row number. So what happened? This row number is become the constant here. So row number will not change. Row number will not change. Only column is going to change. So let's see with the example. You try to understand this formula with the help of the example. Now I'm going to delete this formula, and I'm going to delete this formula also. Okay. And now what I'm doing, I'm going to write here equal to B. Okay. And I'm putting the dollar sign here. $30 means what? I'm going to make row number constant. Multiply. I'm giving this formula. Okay. So this much only I'm writing here. So now look at this. I have made the row number constants, but I have allowed that the column should be changed in this formula. In $30, you just understand that the row number is constant, but the column is changeable here. So what I'm doing, I'm going to copy this formula in downward, and you can find out what is written here, B30. What is written here? B30. Okay. You are copying in the same row. You are copying in the same column, but copying in the different row. Acha, look at the second. First, look at this. What is this? $30, C30. But look at in this formula, ki what happened here? It's a $30, but C32. Okay. Now I'm going. So in the second cell, you can observe in second cell address, it's going to change accordingly. So row number is changing here, but the first B30, you can look at the first component here, row number is not changing. Here it is changing. In this case, it is changing, but in this case, it is not changing. Why? Because first is the mixed cell referencing, and in that cell referencing, what I did, I make the row number as a constant. Now I'm going to copy this formula to this side. And this time you can observe that what is the formula is written here. It is written $30 here. Okay, so 30 is the constant, but B is the not constant. Here C30. So now I'm going to check the same formula here. What happened in this case? And you can find out B is modified with the C. B is changed with the C, but the 30 does not. And here you can see the row number and column number both are changing. Here you have written C30. Here you have written C30, but here what happened? It's become D31. Why? Because it is a relative. But in this case, the one component is the absolute, but the other component is not absolute. So other component column is going to modify, but row number is not going to change here. So that is the basic difference between absolute and mixed referencing. Now I'm going to change this concept, and I'm putting the dollar sign before the B, and I'm leaving the dollar sign from the 30. And now I'm going to copy this formula at this place. I'm going to copy this formula at this place or this place. And you can find out what happened in this case. In this case, what happened? Row number is going to change. But the column number does not. Column is still $B here. In a previous example, you can see that in this column number is changing, but row number is not changing. But here you can observe that column number is changing and row number does not changing. Why? Because you have put dollar sign before the column number. So what happened? Your column become the constant. And that's why it's a not changing. So this is the concept of the relative, mixed cell referencing. Now we are going to understand what is the absolute cell referencing. What is the meaning of the absolute cell referencing? Absolute cell referencing, it means that what happened in mixed cell referencing, one thing you have to observe, one thing you have to note down here. In a mixed cell referencing, in which one cell address name is variable and one cell address is constant. In a mixed cell referencing, one cell address name is the variable and one cell address is constant. Wait for it. Okay, so now move on the next cell referencing type, and the another cell referencing type that is called absolute. Absolute. So what is the absolute cell referencing? In absolute cell referencing, what we are doing in that, we are using the dollar sign before the row number as well as before the column number altogether. In absolute cell referencing, dollar symbol is used before the column name as well as before the row number to make it constant. To make it constant. And what is the meaning of making constant? It means that it will never change. It will never change. Whenever you copying the formula, it's not going to change it. It's not going to change it. It's not going to change. Okay, so that is the difference between the relative and absolute and mix and absolute. So you can see that how you are going to make it not make it constant. You put the dollar sign before the column number also, and you put the dollar sign before the row number also. So these are the example of the absolute cell referencing. In that, cell name remains constant. In any condition, it's not going to change it. So now I am showing you the one example here, and in this formula, this time I'm going to use $B and I'm going to use $30. I'm going to use $B, $30. So this cell reference. So now what happened? And this time I'm going to copy this cell reference here. I'm going to copy this cell reference here. So now you can see that what happened. What is the formula here? What is the formula here? Here the formula $B, $30 multiply C30. Now check this formula here. What is the formula here? Still $B, $30. D is going to, second address is going to change, but the first is not going to change. It's not changing the row number as well as it's not going to change the column number. So what is the importance of this concept? This concept is important. Suppose you are having the one dynamic concepts, means you are giving the 7.4.5 rate of interest. Suppose this is the fixed rate of interest. This is the fixed rate of interest. And I have calculated the one compound interest for simple interest formula on the basis of this. And this formula is going to copy, and I'm going to check the SI2. I'm going to compare the SI2. But this time I want this is the principal amount. Okay. I want this is the principal amount. Okay. And I want this is the time. I have to put the multiply sign here. So and then next I'll multiply sign here, and I want this rate of interest. I want this rate of interest. Okay, and divided by 100. Fine. This formula is working fine. What I'm doing, I'm taking the this principal amount. I'm taking the this time, but I'm taking the this rate of interest. I don't want to use this rate of interest. I'm going to use this rate of interest, and I want to check. Okay, what is the calculation on the basis of 4.5 rate of interest? Okay, now fine. Now I'm going to copy this formula here. So what happened? I'm getting an error message and I'm getting some invalid value here. Why I'm getting some invalid value and something wrong value here? Because what happened whenever you are copying this formula, this D27, you are assuming that for every principal amount, you want the same rate of interest. But it is not going to do the same rate of interest. What happened in another? What happened in the next cell? You just check it. It's become D28. What happened in the next cell? Just check. It's become D29. What's happened in the next cell? You just check. It's become D30. Okay. So D is going to change. It's going to change. So what is the solution of this? The solution of this is this formula in this case, because I want to use the same cell value for the every formula for the every row. So what I'm doing, I'm going to make it constant. I'm going to make it constant. And now I'm copying this formula to anywhere. I'm getting the accurate value. And now you can see. So again, it is G27. Next, in a next row, you can see it is again D27. In a next row, you can see it is again D27. And the next row, you can see it is again D27. So this is the advantage of absolute cell referencing. So now you understand, sometimes you have to use the normal relative cell referencing, sometimes you have to use the mixed cell referencing, and sometimes you have to use the absolute cell referencing. Okay, so there is some thumbs rules for you all. So you just try to understand what is the thumbs rules. A1, this is the relative reference. $A1, this is the mix. Here column is the constant. $1, This is also mix. Here row number is constant and $A $1 here both are constants, means no one will be changed. In a relative, column will change, row will also change. In relative, column will change, row will also change. But in this, in a mix, column is constant, row will be changed. In this, column will change, but the row is the constant. And in this, the both are the constants. So either neither column change or nor row change. Okay, so that is about the cell referencing. So I hope you understand how we are going to use the cell referencing in a formula and when and where we have to use relative, mix or absolute cell referencing. So now I'm going to end the class for today. So do you have any problem?